Because the thing is, it kind of doesn't always matter where we are. We have these experiences regardless.
Right.
And so I think that humanity is what you're gonna really...
Alicia Keys reveals how she caught Swizz Beatz and Lala Anthony together. Word around the messy blogs is that Alicia caught her man Swizz Beatz sneaking around with none other than Lala Anthony. Yes, Carmelo's ex, and as soon as people heard that combo, they didn't need any further proof because they already had the pitchforks out. But before we start pointing fingers and making up wedding-ruining headlines, let me lay out the facts, because there's what's allegedly happening. And then there's what's actually on record. Alicia and Swizz got married in 2010. They have 2 kids, and they've been giving us joint red carpet smiles ever since. While Lala Anthony married Carmelo in 2010 as well and filed for divorce in 2021 after years of him, let's just say, having his jersey everywhere but the court. So when this caught together story popped up, people started connecting it back to 2021 when radio host Miss Jones claimed she had a DM from Swizz's camp talking about him fooling around with Lala, which Swizz denied while Alicia stayed silent. And the internet eventually moved on until now. That's how these things usually go. A little spark back then turns into a bigger fire now, and the truth is the tea doesn't even need to be confirmed, because just the idea of Lala, a woman, in the same social circle, being linked to Alicia's husband is enough to make Twitter clock and like it's their full-time job.
Wish is to have a partner in the scene that is cool and patient and understanding. So
back in 2013, people first whispered about Swizz being a little too friendly at industry parties. Nothing stuck, but the streets remembered. And by 2016, Carmelo Anthony got exposed for allegedly fathering a child outside his marriage, which shook Lala's world, and suddenly she was stepping out solo looking fine and unbothered. But y'all know how men in power circles move. Soon as a woman is vulnerable, here come the friends trying to comfort her. And by 2017 to 2018, paparazzi started catching Lala at the same events as Swizz and Alicia. Nothing incriminating, just group settings like fashion weeks and art shows. But you know how pictures without context live forever online? And somebody always zooming in, like, look at the body language. So her leaning over to grab a drink turns into a college essay about adultery. Then comes 2021, and that's when the story really got juice, because Miss Jones, a radio host known for spilling unfiltered tea, said on air that Swizz had been creeping with Lala and claimed a trusted source from Swizz's camp gave her the receipts, and social media lit up, blogs ate it. But both parties played deaf, with Lala never entertaining it and Swizz going online acting like folks were tripping, while Alicia stayed quiet, which, let's be real, sometimes silence is louder than words. Now here we are in 2025, and suddenly, rumors say Alicia caught them again. No pics, no leaked texts, just whispers, growing legs, because it fits the narrative. With Lala single, Swizz having history, and Alicia known for keeping her cool in public. So it doesn't matter if it's true because the timeline of past mess makes it believable. That's how gossip works. It doesn't need proof, it just needs a pattern. And to be fair, Lala could be sitting pretty minding her own business and still end up in somebody's mess. Why? Because her story checks every box for a messy blog narrative. First, she's a known beauty in hip-hop circles from her MTV VJ days to Power, where she's always been the girl everybody calls fine, and in an industry where men's egos run bigger than their bank accounts. That makes her a permanent suspect, because if a man even breathes in her direction, suddenly they linked up. Second, her marriage to Carmelo Anthony was already drama-filled. Melo got caught up with side pieces more than once, and remember that whole 2017 scandal with the alleged love child? Woo, Lala tried to hold it down, but once trust is cracked, the public never forgets. So every time a man does her dirty, people start thinking she's probably getting her lick back even when she's not. Third, Lala's career keeps her orbiting powerful men through acting gigs, reality TV, red carpets, and private parties. She's visible, and unlike Sarah Chapman, Chance's mama who stayed low, Lala's brand thrives on being seen, and that visibility means more cameras, more speculation, and more ready-made narratives. Finally, she's single now, and in gossip logic, single plus attractive plus industry equals automatic. She's messing with somebody's husband, and people don't even care if it's true. They just love dragging Lala into storylines because it sells.
You know, I can't lean on what I did before. I gotta put my feet in the paint today. And
See the pattern? This ain't new, because when Bianca took Jay-Z back after his cheating, folks questioned her self-worth instead of his behalf. No, let's talk about Swizz, because this man's name has been floating around the rumor mill for years, not just now. Since his and Alicia's relationship already had a scandalous start with claims that he was still legally married to his first wife, Mashonda, when he began linking with Alicia, and Mashonda even went public with that infamous open letter in 2009 accusing Alicia of wrecking her home. So from the jump, people have been side-eyeing this marriage. Swizz himself is charismatic, flashy, and loves the spotlight with art shows, fancy cars, and extravagant gifts, and he knows how to make women feel seen because that's his brand. But when your brand is ladies' man energy, people assume temptation is always in the room. Plus, Swizz has a history of being messy with his exes, with public fights over child support and rumors of side flings even after marrying Alicia, and all of it sticks. So when you hear Swizz cheating, you don't even need proof because his reputation already laid the foundation. And when you pair that with Lala's situation, you get an instant scandal that to the streets fits too perfectly, with Swizz as the flashy producer with a wandering eye and Lala as the gorgeous single actress. Tired of being Mello's punching bag, and whether it's fact or fiction, the narrative writes itself. Alicia Keys has always played the long game when it comes to her image, building her brand on soul, grace, and that whole classy queen who doesn't do drama vibe. Because when Mashonda aired her out back in the day, Alicia didn't clap back on Twitter or hop on Instagram live crying. She just stayed quiet, smiled through interviews, and doubled down on her music. And that silence worked because over time people moved on and she went from homewrecker headlines to being remembered as the barefoot goddess at the piano. Fast forward to now, with rumors about Swizz and Lala, Alicia isn't saying anything again. And that's strategic because the second she speaks, the blogs eat it alive. But by staying silent, she leaves room for speculation while keeping her hands clean. And the problem is silence cuts both ways because fans start reading into it, asking why she isn't defending her marriage and why she's so quiet. Maybe because it's true, since silence can be taken as agreement. In this case, Alicia's silence preserves her image but also feeds the fire, with some calling her a strong woman who doesn't entertain mess and others seeing her as a wife quietly suffering. Either way, she becomes part of the narrative even without saying a word. The thing about Hollywood gossip is sometimes it's not even about truth but about leverage, because these Lala and Swizz whispers aren't just petty tea, they're tools that can be used to distract, discredit, or pressure people behind the scenes, just like Offset and Cardi's mess where every rumor of infidelity popped up right when something bigger was brewing, like an album rollout or a court case. The same thing applies here, with Swizz deep in the art world working with billion-dollar galleries, Alicia still selling out tours, and Lala trying to cement herself in Hollywood. And one ugly rumor can shake all of that, since endorsements get nervous, directors second-guess casting, and opportunities suddenly dry up. And sometimes rumors get planted on purpose by someone salty, a business rival, or even somebody in the circle who wants to stir chaos. That's why gossip isn't just gossip in this industry, it's chess. So when you see blogs pushing Lala and Swizz heavy, you have to ask who benefits. Is it clickbait? Is it someone trying to humble Alicia? Or is it just a way to keep Lala boxed into the messy friend role instead of letting her grow? Because at the end of the day, rumors become weapons. And when you already have histories like Swizz's past or Lala's baggage with Mello, it doesn't take much for people to believe the worst. The truth is, Lala Anthony has been grinding since her MTV VJ days, building a name outside of just being Carmelo Anthony's wife with books, a beauty line, acting roles, and producing. And she's been stacking up credentials, but the streets don't always separate Lala the hustler from Lala the ex-wife. So every time Mello's name trends, whether for his NBA legacy or his side babies, Lala gets dragged back into it while people see her glow up, the new body, the acting gigs, and the red carpets, then whisper she only got that far because she left Mello. And here's where it gets spicy. Because if the rumors about Swizz are true, people flip that same narrative, saying she traded one baller for another powerful man. And if they're false, people still side-eye her success and wonder if she's being sponsored. So either way, her grind gets overshadowed by men's names. Meanwhile, Mello, despite all the alleged cheating and outside kids, still gets introduced as a future Hall of Famer, and folks treat his mess like side notes, which shows the double-edged life Lala's been living with, where her wins get tied to scandal while his stay tied to stats. And that's why when people hear Lala with Swizz, it's not just gossip, but another way her name gets linked to a man's reputation instead of her own work, an imbalance that's been following her career for years. And speaking of imbalance, let's talk about double standards, because when Swizz's name comes up in cheating talk, people laugh it off like, well, y'all know how Swizz, but let Lala's name get tossed in and suddenly she's messy, thirsty, and can't keep a man. Ire. When Jennifer Lopez moved on from one relationship to another, she got called desperate. While men like Future can have a baby with every zodiac sign and still get praised for being a toxic king, Lala gets no grace, even though she was loyal during Melo's NBA years, held him down, and forgave public embarrassment. But the second she's seen enjoying life, whether acting with 50 Cent or rumored to be close to Swizz, she's dragged. Because that's the Hollywood script for women. You're either the angelic wife who suffers quietly or the villain who stole somebody's man. And the kicker is the blogs profit from keeping women in those boxes, since drama sells better when Lala is the homewrecker and Alicia is the silent queen, while nobody clicks if it's just three successful people coexisting in peace. So the double standards don't just fuel gossip but shape careers, endorsements, and even future roles. Men bounce back easily while women have to fight uphill just to be seen as more than the scandal attached to their names. And what's even worse is the kids end up catching strays too. This is the part nobody wants to talk about, but it's the realest. Because whenever cheating or DNA rumors start flying, the kids get caught in the middle. Like Lala and Melo's son Keon, who's a teenager now, balling out and already getting college offers. But instead of just being Keon the Hooper, he has to deal with whispers like, ain't your dad the one who, or yo mama was trending with Swizz, which is weight a kid shouldn't have to carry. The same goes for Swizz and Alicia's kids, who are too young to even spell cheating scandal but already see their daddy's name dragged online. And imagine being old enough to Google your parents only to stumble across rumor threads. That's generational drama stamped into their digital history. The wild part is none of these kids asked for this. They didn't choose who their parents love, cheat on, or leave. But in the court of public opinion, they always get the fallout, just like we've seen with Future's kids, Diddy's kids, and even Will and Jada's kids. Public scandals always end up with private victims, and it's usually the children. Because while the grown folks tussle over rumors, the little ones inherit the side-eye. And that's the part of gossip people don't admit. It doesn't just live online, it shapes real childhoods. But let's keep it a buck. This Lala, Swizz, Alicia, and Melo entanglement isn't going anywhere, because it's got all the ingredients blogs love: power couples, messy timing, alleged receipts, and the contrast between Alicia's angelic image and Lala's spicy glow-up. It's like a Perry rom-com come to life. Even if everybody involved came out tomorrow and said it's all lies and they're just family friends, the internet wouldn't buy it, because folks already pick their narrative, with some seeing Lala as leveling up, some seeing Swizz as messy, and some seeing Alicia as too quiet to be happy. So it becomes one big puzzle no one really wants to solve. And here's the other thing, the culture doesn't let black love triangles rest. Because whether it was Diddy, Cassie, and Kim Porter, or Khloe, Tristan, and Jordan Woods, once the internet gets a taste of a storyline like this, it turns into its own soap opera. Lala can book 10 more acting gigs, Alicia can drop another album, and Swizz can host another beat battle. But one blurry rumor will still outrun all of it. And that's why this story will keep coming back. It's not about truth anymore. It's about the entertainment value of imagining powerful people living messy lives. So whether there's real fire behind the smoke or just a blog stirring the pot, one thing is clear: Lala, Swizz, Alicia, and Melo are stuck in a storyline the internet isn't ready to close the chapter on. And honestly, that's exactly what keeps the gossip industry alive.